Now I'm nervous.
Hold on. We're almost there. We're almost there. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are on a Zoom call because
Sure
it's
are.
free.
Yep.
Take advantage of it.
And we can't go into the station.
And we're gonna do it for the gram.
Oh, no.
One of these things, everyone's doing it. Boom, got it.
We're talking about movies that parents can watch with their kids. And we're not talking about just rated G. We're talking about PG and PG-13 ones as well. I gotta say, some of our picks, really good. My picks, probably bad. But you know what?
Don't
Can't
say
help-
things like that. You don't know.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
I'm just trying to set the expectations low, so when they see my picks, they'll be like,
He was right.
Boy, was I not disappointed.
"How did he know we would hate them?"
The Pagemaster, 1994 classic, well, cult classic. It's like half animated, half live action. Macaulay Culkin. He's stuck in a library. He's whisked away to a fantasy world with books. Really interesting stuff. It sounds boring, but it's not. You got Patrick Stewart playing a book. He plays adventure. You got Whoopi Goldberg. She's playing fantasy. And you got Frank Welker, who is Megatron in Transformers. The cartoons, not the movies. And he plays horror. And they have to go through the whole library to get to the exit and meet the Pagemaster. Oh, Christopher Lloyd's in this movie. Fantastic. It's so good. No one talks about this movie enough. So just watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we were kids, or when I was a kid, actually, you guys were still. Well, JD was a kid.
Yeah.
Zach was.
I don't think I was a thought yet.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, I remember only seeing it like at Blockbuster and renting it, and I had no idea it even existed, even with Macaulay Culkin as the lead in the movie. And it was sort of a financial bomb.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't. Not a lot of people have seen it. So I think that's a really good one
I've
to
never
watch
heard
your
of it
kid.
until JD mentioned.
Zach, you gotta watch it. Watch it as soon as you leave this meeting. Go watch it. But I mean, it is like a kid's version of Roger Rabbit. It's like this blend of everything, and it's great.
Yeah.
So there's some scary moments when they go through the horror section, but man, it's so good.
It's kid scary.
Yeah, kid scary.
Not adult scary.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, I'll go
Yeah.
next
Go for it.
because Zach's is probably the best out of all three of us.
Oh,
Wow.
Look, we built a rapport before you joined the meeting. Okay.
Fine. You know what? I'll leave the two of you alone.
All dogs go to heaven, and as the title suggests, all dogs go to heaven. But plot twist, they don't actually. Some go to hell.
good pitch.
But it's got a really great voice cast. You got Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, and it's just a
Cannonball Run.
That is a movie.
Yeah,
definitely not a movie to recommend to kids.
No, but it's like a reunion.
Yes, it's a reunion.
Yes.
Only in cartoon form.
Cartoon form.
It's a very fun movie. There are some kid scary moments, but I think it's a great one to watch with your kid because it's got dogs, and who doesn't love dogs?
I do like dogs.
If you don't like dogs,
you don't go to heaven.
Well,
wow.
I didn't say it.
Statement.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
The sequels are really good too. Or at least the second one is. I think they made like a Christmas one that's like supposed to be, what is it? A Christmas Carol, but it's all dogs go to heaven.
Well, apparently mine is the best one for some reason. And it is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is I think what we all want right now is escapism. At least that's what I want right now. And hopefully your kids do too. And this is a perfect escapism movie where you follow Charlie Bucket. Poor kid, small town, wins a golden ticket, goes to a factory made of chocolate. Well, it's not made of chocolate, but chocolate everywhere. And who doesn't like chocolate except for
people that are allergic to it?
Yeah,
allergic to it or have a real reason to not like chocolate. But this is a fever dream of a movie. It's funny. It's Gene Wilder's best performance. It's got a lot of great songs, and then you guys kept mentioning kids scary. I think this is like adult scary in one scene. I think we all know what I'm talking about.
But it's fantastic. It is good. I mean, I don't think anyone would really disagree. I mean, Gene Wilder's been in so many good movies, but I mean, that is Gene Wilder. Like, that's the movie everyone knows. Yeah.
The pinnacle of, well, there's only one other movie that I say he has a better performance, but Willy
What is
Wonka,
it?
it's Young
Tell us.
Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But his performance as Willy Wonka is so great that the Johnny Depp performance looks awful in comparison.
The whole movie looks awful.
Well,
just
yeah.
in comparison to Gene Wilder's performance. It's just it is really good. And the kids, they found the perfect kids to just be the worst.
It's just a movie that'll make you feel comfy.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel when I watch it every single time. I'm like, oh, I remember this.
I was gonna pick the Iron Giant, but I've been told that I've already talked about the Iron Giant on this segment. Not this segment, but in this franchise.
Past.
Yes, in the past when we were talking about 1999 movies, I decided to take this moment to give a little love to a Steven Spielberg movie that I feel like people hate for some reason.
It is kind of controversial.
It's a controversial Spielberg pick, and that's Hook. I don't understand the hate for this movie. I don't understand why, like, no one. I mean, people talk about it. You have your diehards. I mean, I love this movie. I think this is. Of course, it is not Spielberg's best. It's maybe, but for me, it cracks that top 5 because I watched it as a kid. The John Williams soundtrack is fantastic. I mean, Phil Collins shows up. Dustin Hoffman's performance is incredible.
Oh, he's so good.
Bob Hoskins is like fantastic as Shmi, and it's about Peter Pan. He grew up, played by Robin Williams, and he has to return to Neverland to find his kids. But he's kind of like, I don't believe in any of this stuff, and it's just really. Like just really good. I mean, some people say it's not, but I think it is fantastic. Rufio, and it's got Hook. Where's the hook? I mean, there's just so many good things.
Here's what I think. I think if you're an adult watching Hook, you probably hated it, but us as kids watching it, we're like, oh, this is my jam. It slaps.
This movie is bangerang.
Yeah. It's a slapper and a bangerang.
Bangerang.
Well, my pick is a story that has an ending, but it's called The Never-Ending Story. This is like the perfect time to show your kid this movie because in some ways it starts like it's a little doom and gloomy, but by the end it's a very heartwarming end to the book story. It's also a great time if your kid's like between the age of 8 and 14 to show them because it's like it's fantasy, it's adventure. It's got all these cool, sometimes grimy looking characters who are like just peculiar to look at. But then you also have characters like Atreyu and the horse, Artax. If you've seen the end episode of season 3 of Stranger Things, and you're like, your kid doesn't know what the Never-Ending Story song is or where it's from. Perfect segue.
1, shame on them. 2, watch the movie. 3, don't watch the sequels. You don't need them.
No,
just don't.
They don't exist. This is the end of the Never-Ending Story.
Yep.
So my pick, another big escapism movie, is Hugo, and I love this movie. It's a movie about movies that's disguised as a kids movie, directed by one of the best directors of all time, Martin Scorsese. But it's just a great, like awe movie. Not awe as in like cute awe, but like whoa, like that type of.
Whoa. Like wonder.
Thank you. That's a much better word. But this movie is super effects heavy, so your kids might like that, but it's also 10 years old almost, which is mind blowing to me. Some of it doesn't age well because it was like shot digitally whenever 3D was like another new fad for some reason. So like a lot of the things like a book's coming at you or a feather, whoa. But your kids will love this movie. If they're
it's a feather. Oh no.
I think I've managed to find a few kind of movies that fly under the radar. Hook maybe not so much, but I think now it flies under the radar. But my pick for PG-13 is this fantasy movie called Stardust, and it follows this young man who is trying to woo this woman, and she sees a falling star and is like, go give me that star, and he's like, I got it, and then it ends up being a woman, and he's kind of taking her back to this girl who he thinks he loves, but he starts to fall in love with the star, and they just have this big sci-fi fantasy adventure. They're being chased by a group of witches, and the cast is just stacked. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn before he did X-Men First Class and before he did Kick-Ass and the Kingsman series. It's got Charlie Cox before he was Daredevil. I mean, like years before he was Daredevil. And it's got Claire Danes. It's got Mark Strong, Michelle Pfeiffer, Henry Cavill before he was Superman. It's such a good movie. No one talks about this movie, and it is really good. I remember it's a great movie that when you don't know what it's about and you watch it and you're like, wow, that was really great. I mean, you know what it's about, but you don't really know what you're really getting into. Oh, Robert De Niro's in this movie. Robert De Niro.
Space pirate. He's a
space pirate.
My pick is a little more on the mature side, so it's PG-13 still, but it's definitely, I would say, maybe for like the 15-year-olds and older. And it's a Coen Brothers movie, and it's called Raising Arizona, starring Nick Cage and Holly Hunter. Also got John Goodman in there. It's got all the Coen Brothers staples that you'll love. It's an ex-con marrying an ex-cop, and they steal a baby. It's a really fun movie, especially like knowing Nick Cage in this era was just like, well, technically he's always done over-the-top performances. He had a string of movies where he's just like was doing some insane acting, and then he did Raising Arizona, which is on the low end of his insane acting. But it's still really great. He's got a good mustache in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a fun movie. It's hilarious. It's Coen Brothers. So it's a good way to get your kid interested in Coen Brothers movies before showing them like the rated R stuff.
Yeah. Which is like the rest of the Coen
Yeah.
Mine is another classic. It's not the Coen Brothers. It's John Hughes. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And again, this is like I'm all about escapism right now. And this is like a teenager's like dream, is to just be good at lying, and you just decide to play hooky. And that's what it is. We follow Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller, just taking a day off. This movie is perfect for like 15, 16-year-olds. If they haven't seen it yet, they're going to love it. I don't know anyone who doesn't like this movie. I watch it like twice a year. It's just, it brings joy.
It's top 10 for me. I mean, I think there are definitely issues with it now, but it's like, it's still just one of those movies. It's a classic.
And it's a great movie to like, if you know your kid's into filmmaking and like has like making their own movies and stuff. This is a really like cinematography rich movie. There's a lot of framing. There's a lot of like editing tricks that they do.
Oh yeah,
it's a really fun movie for filmmakers to watch.
There's a special guest. There's a special guest this week since we're all at home. It's someone coming to ask me what I want for dinner.
Oh,
look at this. So we're gonna go watch. Oh no, she's grabbing the mic. Oh no,
she's trying to mute you. She's done listening to you.
So we're gonna go watch. I don't know, maybe the Pagemaster, maybe Ferris Bueller. We don't. Oh my gosh. Oh. Wow.
That was the whole bet.
Wow. There was twists, there was turns. Fantastic.